Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video will be every book that I read in April, and I just want to say I stuck to my TBR for the most part. I think I read only books that were on my TBR, actually. I did only read. I did miss finishing Throne of Glass, which I did not do, and then I did not read The House Across the Lake, which I will at some point, but those are the only two books that I either didn't finish or didn't read because I had an 11 book TBR. At least I read 9 of them. That's actually really shocking that I was able to read 9. I read a total of 3,526 pages. This month I read an array of genres, an array of books. I read romance, I read dark romance, I read YA, I read a sad book. I read so many different genres, so I think we should just stop blabbing and maybe show you the books that I read and then maybe talk about them instead of just blabbing on. So I started this month with a Lucy Score book. I literally have a collection of Lucy Score books because I love her writing so much, and whenever I'm in a book slump, I'll just pick up one of her books and I know that I'm going to enjoy it somewhat. I started the month with Mr. Fixer-Upper. I literally knew nothing about this book. I didn't know a thing. I don't know what I thought this book was going to be, but I ended up giving this book a 3-star rating. Wasn't my favorite Lucy Score book that I've ever read in my life, but it was fun. It was a fun concept. I will say I never ever think about this couple now, and that's how I know it's like a 3-star and not a 4. I literally cannot remember their names. Paige and Gannon, that was it. I could not tell you before I had to look at the back of the book. I literally didn't remember. But the premise of this book is basically they are on a set of a reality fixer-upper show, basically. He is the reality star. He's like big wig. He's like an actor, but he's not really an actor because they're on a show that they're just redoing people's houses. She basically helps on set, helps the show run, but she doesn't know if she wants a relationship, especially with a coworker, because she wants to be taken seriously in the industry. So that's the basic premise. But I gave this book a 3 stars. And I would say on the spice scale, Lucy Score always writes spice. And I would say it's like a 4 in the spice range. But seriously, I don't ever think about this couple. But I always recommend Lucy Score's writing if you're ever in a reading slump. So take that how you will. This next book I read, I'm really disappointed of my rating for this book because I was expecting to love this book. I was expecting to just swoon over this book, but I did not. And that book is Priest by Sierra Simone. A lot of people love this book. A lot of people love it so much. I am not one of those people. This book was, to me, purely just spice. And there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want, but me, I like a plot. I like a more story. You know, when I'm reading a book, I want to read about a story. And if there's spice in there, that's fine. But when I'm basically just reading about spice, that's not for me. But basically, he's a priest. His name is Tyler. And this woman, Poppy, walks into his life. And if you're a priest, you can't get married. You're not supposed to do all the things married people do, if you catch my drift. And yeah, that causes a problem. And yes, you see where that is going. I don't want to give anything else away, but he's a priest and he's falling for a girl, but purely just spice. I mean, if that's what you want, go ahead. If that's what you want, you go for it, but not for me. I gave this book 2 stars, and it's definitely like a 4-star on the spice rating scale. The next book I read, was this the start of my 24-hour reading video? I think it was. I read Love Redesigned. I listened to half of it and then I read the other half of it. I love Lauren Asher. She is my queen. She writes billionaire romances really well. I just think she writes beautifully. She knows how to write a romance, and all of her men being billionaires. I love that. So this book's by Julian and Dyla, something like that. I don't know how to say it. Basically, their families grow up together. They're really close all throughout grammar school, high school, whatever you want to say. And they always are in competition with each other. And then they go to college. And then things happen, but basically they have a lot of past history, they have a lot of history, and then, you know, a romance book. A romance ensues. So we get to see some of the characters from the Dream Million Billionaire series, which I really, really enjoyed, and I love that. But I gave this book a 4.75 stars. I really liked it, but it didn't give me the 5-star feeling, and I never think about these characters, but I had a great time when reading it. But I never ever think about this couple. I never think about anything really with this book. But I really had a great time reading this book, and I highly recommend if you love Lauren Asher and you love reading about billionaires. So 4.75. Then I read Checkmate by Ali Hazelwood, and here's the thing. I love her writing. I literally love the way this woman writes her books. Clearly I have a theme. I love Lucy Score, Lauren Asher, I love Ali Hazelwood, but this book talked about chess too much for me. And yeah, you're probably like, Elena, of course it did, because it's literally Checkmate. It literally has chess pieces on the cover. I get that. I just wish we would have focused on the romance a little bit more. I wish there was more chemistry, because I did not really feel the chemistry in this book. Like, this couple, to me, where's the chemistry, you know? But this basically follows this girl named Mallory. She has a family side plot that's happening, which I really enjoyed. And there's chess and chess tournaments, and there's this guy, and a romance ensues. But I did not find this book to be one of my favorite Ali Hazelwood books. I gave this book 3 stars. I just didn't. This wasn't for me. If it's for you, great. If you know things about chess, good. If you felt the chemistry with this couple, good. I did not. But I gave this book 3 stars, and I really don't remember much about the spice, so I gave it like a 2 on the spice scale rating. Do with that information what you will. It's a YA. And then I read another one of my favorite books this month, which is Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. Yeah, I read 2 Ali Hazelwood books back to back. Also in the same video, if you want to watch my 24-hour reading video. But I love this book. It reminded me of The Love Hypothesis. I, for some reason, skipped over Love on the Brain? I literally have it. I just skipped over it, went straight to this one. Not that you have to read them in order. I think they're just interconnected standalones. Do I care that Ali Hazelwood keeps writing the same kind of books? Like the same kind of plot in each book? No. No, I don't, because I love her writing and she does it well. So basically, she is in STEM, but she is fake dating a guy. So she ends up meeting his brother, Jack, who, get this, their work is kind of interconnected. So she ends up falling for Jack, who is the brother of the guy she's fake dating. So it's a whole thing. It's really kind of fun and exciting, but that's the basic premise of this book, and I had a really fun time. So 4.5, and probably like 3 to 4 on the spice scale for me. And then I read my first 5-star of this month. This book I recommend to everyone. I think everyone should read this book. I love it that much that I am recommending it to everyone that I know. The basic premise of this book is Autumn and Finn grow up together. They always hang out when they're little. They have sleepovers. They do all the stuff. And then they go to high school. She has a boyfriend. And they kind of grow apart. Not completely, but they kind of grow apart and like end up in separate friend group kind of thing. He has a girlfriend. She has a boyfriend. You know how that goes. And then you have to figure out what happens from there. Towards the end, it got kind of heavy. But good Lord, I love this book. I literally was thinking about this book the other day. I think about this book a lot. And that's how I know it's a 5-star read, because I love it. I love it. Just read this book. Thank you. Okay? It's 5 stars. It's 5 stars. I don't really know on the spice scale. Maybe 2 to 3. I don't really remember a lot of spice happening. But these are my babies. And I love them. And you should all read this book. How many times am I going to say you should read this book? You should read this book. Thank you. The next book that I read was one that I had to pick for my book club. I was in charge this month. I chose One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid because I've had this on my shelf for the longest time. I love the concept of this book, and I just really wanted to know what happened. They're high school sweethearts. They get married, and her husband goes on a trip, okay? He goes on a trip. There's a helicopter crash. He dies. Super sad, by the way. What the heck? Her husband dies. So she moves on with her life. It's years later, and she gets engaged to another man because she's moving on. She's living her best life, trying to recoup from what happened. And then she's out to dinner one night with her fiance, and she gets a call from her dead husband that he was alive. So now she has to pick between the two. And that's all I'm going to tell you, because you need to just read it to find out what happens. But nonetheless, at first I gave this book 4.5 stars. And then I kept thinking about it, and I'm like, I don't think that's right. So I gave it a 4-star in the end. But overall, it's a very interesting story, and I felt like it was easy writing. I ate this book up. I flew through it. It was so good. But yeah, a 4-star. And I recommend this book because it was very interesting. And what the plot of this book, it just hooked me. The next book that I read was The Bane of My Existence. Is that how you say it? The Bane of My Existence? The Bane of My Existence? I don't know how to say it. But I've never wanted to finish a book more in my life. I don't know why I ended up finishing this book. I don't know why I did not DNF it. I'm going to try to not be too mean in my rating for this book or anything that I say about this book. The book in question is Summer Reading. I'm going to say what I have to say. And if you love this book, great for you. It wasn't for me, okay? We're allowed to have different opinions on books. This book just wasn't for me, and I'm going to keep it short and sweet because I don't want to say anything else rude about this book. But if she would have used the words dude and bro one more time, I think I would have lost my mind. Nope, I'm not going to say anything mean. I'll just read you the back. I'll read you this one line. When a woman who'd rather do anything than read meets a swoon-worthy bookworm, sparks fly, making for one hot summer fling. So if that sounds good to you, go ahead. If you want to read about a girl with dyslexia who doesn't like reading, but then she meets a bookworm kind of guy, which I love a bookworm kind of guy, but I didn't buy the romance. Anyway, I'm just going to say 2 stars. And we're going to leave it at that. I don't like saying mean things about books, but sometimes there's just those books and you're just like, I need to tell you my true and honest opinion. So that's my true and honest opinion. We're just going to leave it at that. And then I'm filming this on May 1st, okay? I'm filming this on May 1st. I binge read this book. I binged this book. I read this whole book in one day. Are we going to guess what it is? If you watch my TBR, well, you just saw it. If you watch my TBR video, I was so excited to read this book. And I read it on the last day of the month. I finally read Her Soul to Take. I will stop saying how much I liked it because maybe I should tell you what the book's about. Okay, it's a dark romance, if you couldn't tell. If you couldn't tell by the cover, this is a dark romance book, okay? But basically, there's this girl named Ray, and she is really into, like, haunted things. She has a YouTube channel where she does haunted videos. So she ends up going back to, like, her hometown. She had moved away. Her parents didn't want to stay there. They had moved away. She went back. She's like, I'm going back. I'm going to film all these videos. Well, she ends up accidentally summoning a demon. Stay with me for a second, okay? Just stay with me. Yeah, she summons a demon. His name's Leon. He's great. I know. Again, just hold on. I know he's a demon. Hold on. Basically, there's people after her. After she summons the demon, she realizes, like, oh, people are after her, and, like, these monsters are after her, okay? But there's action in this book. There's romance in this book. There's dark romance in this book. There's monsters. There's demons. There's people. There's everything you could ever want, okay? And there's a cat. Even though Leon is a demon, he's great. He's so romantic. He's overprotective. He's a great man that's always protecting Ray. But this book was definitely 5 stars. Read it in one day. Read it in one sitting. Dark romance, action, overprotective man, and probably like a 4 to 5. Probably 4 on the spice scale. But just be warned, this book has trigger warnings that you should read if you care about them. I see like a list of trigger warnings. I'm like, yes, I will read that. I don't really care what they are. I'm going to read the book. So 5 stars. But anyway, that's the 9 books that I read in April. And I found 2 5-star books. But it was a good reading month, I'd say. I did have a couple books that I was not a fan of. But I'm really excited for May because I already posted my video. If you watch my TBR jar video, the books on that TBR, the books on my TBR. Are you kidding me? Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'm very, very happy about all the books we got finished in April. And yeah, I'm just excited for May. I'm so excited. I'm gonna start one of the books today for May, and I'm just so excited. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel down below, and I will see you guys next time.